Well, welcome to this edition of the Botanical Medicine Study course with me, your host and instructor for the online course in, you guessed it, Botanical Medicine. And my name is Stephanie Georgieff. At the time of the posting of this video, we're in the midst of the merry month of May, which has many meanings for many people. The theme we will be exploring this month on the Botanical Medicine Study course is maternal health, since May is Maternal Health Month. I'm not sure who makes these proclamations, but May is a great month to focus on mothers. So here goes. For this mid-May Maternal Health Month Herb of the Week, we will explore the amazing oat for all its nutritional and medicinal glory and how it is so good for mothers. Now, Avena sativa, which is usually called the common oat, is a species of cereal grain grown for its seed. The oat genus Avena is in the Poaceae family, which includes the cereals wheat, barley, and rye. I think the word Poaceae is an amazing word, but aside from all the connotations, the word might arise in those of us who have very juvenile senses of humor. The Poaceae subfamily is a family of grasses. Now back to our Avena sativa. The oat is a tall, and I love this word, stout grass, because stout has a lot to do with oats, and grows to a height of some almost 6 feet or almost 2 meters high. The leaves are long and narrow, and they look like grass. They're pointed and they grow upwards, and they can be anywhere from 6 to 16 inches in length and about a little bit, probably about a fourth of an inch to a half inch in width. Now, at the top of the stem, the plant branches into a loose cluster of what the botanists like to call a panicle or a spikelet. Now, these panicle and spikelets contain flowers that are wind pollinated, and this little spikelet matures into the oat seed or grain. Now, botanically, the grain is called a caryopsis, which is another fancy botanical term for a fruit with a thin coat that does not open at maturity, and it's a very fancy word for grains. And this is very common in the Poaceae family. In oat, the wall of the fruit is fused onto the actual seed. Now, like other cereal grains, this contains an outer husk or bran. And the starchy food store, which occupies most of the seed, and a protein-rich germ, which is, if planted in the soil, can grow into a new plant. Now, I know some of you out there are recognizing some words such as bran and germ, so keep those in mind. Now, according to an article by Karen Blakesley from Kansas University Agricultural Extension Newsletter, oat dates back to about 32,000 years when wild oats were hand ground by Paleolithic hunter-gatherers. There are many wild oat species, but only 4 have been cultivated for today's use. And Avena sativa is the most popular, and it's the one, if you ever buy anything made out of oats, particularly in North America and Europe, that's what it is made of. Now, interestingly, oats were the last of the cereal grains to be domesticated by Western civilization 3,000 years ago. And the popularity of oats grew when the Romans introduced oats to the British Isle. So love that. The Italians gave the Brits oats, especially in Scotland, where they flourished. And if you've ever traveled in Scotland or looked at Scottish cuisine, it's very oat heavy in a delightful way. Now, oats were first brought to North America with other grains in 1602 and planted on the Elizabeth Islands off the coast of Massachusetts. As early as 1786, George Washington sowed 580 acres of oats. By 1860s and 1870s, the westward shift of oats acreage in the United States had moved into the middle and upper Mississippi Valley, which is currently the major area of production, at least in the United States today. And currently, Europe is the leader in world oat production. Now, oat straw, which is really the medicinal part of the oat, there's a nutritional part of the oat, which is also medicinal, but the main medicinal part in the supplements, etc., is the oat straw. And this comes from the unripened Avena sativa plant. And oat straw is the botanical medicine term. You could say oat, but it's oat straw. And this is the stems and leaves of the plant. And to get the medicinal effect, the leaves and stems are harvested earlier than when the oats are harvested for grain. And this is done while the grass is still green. So oat straw comes in extracts, teas, capsules, and powders. Now, for those of you who remember in the 1980s was the age of oat bran. They put it in everything. And there was this famous Quaker Oats commercial. In fact, if you Google oatmeal guy, it pops up. It's really amusing. And the oatmeal guy, his name was Wilford Brimley, which of course, somebody promoting oats, they wouldn't have, the name Blake Carrington. It would be Wilford Brimley. And he lived to the ripe old age of 85. In fact, he just recently died in 2020. So obviously, eating oatmeal benefited Wilford in terms of his health. And there was this oat bran craze, basically touting that eating oat bran or whole oats with the bran on it would lower cholesterol. And apparently, one of the major oatmeal companies in the United States had a glut of oats. There was an oat glut that year, and they had a whole ton of oat bran. And there was some medical study touting the benefits of bran in general, meaning any sort of bran. You could use wheat bran, oat bran, rice bran, and all of these, wheat, oat, and rice brands are really quite nutritious and healing, et cetera, et cetera. But the oat people noticed that bran in general from this study lowered cholesterol. So they took the study and they said, studies suggest that oat bran lowers cholesterol. And because North Americans love their fat and sugar and meat, and I usually have, a lot of high cholesterol and oxidized cholesterol, and everybody's got heart attacks. It's a leading cause of death in the United States. Rather than adjusting diets or and exercising, let's eat oat bran. So the craze began, and there was oat bran in everything, and I mean everything. I wondered if oat bran would be put into toothpastes at the time. Well, it seems, excuse me. Well, it seems that Wilford Brimley was an honest spokesperson for the benefits of oatmeal. Now, oats are the chemical constituents of oats, oatmeal to me is the definition of bland, right? Like oatmeal. I love oatmeal. I just think it's so yummy. But just this lowly, inexpensive breakfast cereal porridge is just jam-packed with nutrients and has been studied quite a bit. I mean, it's very interesting if you really delve into the scientific literature. There's a ton of research articles specifically on oats for any type of livestock, particularly beef cows and uh, pigs and women pigs, lady pigs, because it helps grow baby piglets. And anybody who's involved with horses know that horses really love oats, but oats are quite well studied. And and this is the grain, the oat grain, and it's a rich source of protein, and it contains lots of minerals, fats, beta glucans, mixed linkage polysaccharides, which you can see here, and the oat dietary fiber, which is the biggie when it comes to helping regulate blood sugar and lower cholesterol. And there's all sorts of things. Indole, alkaloid, gramine. There's another Scrabble word for you. And that's really key in maintaining and regulating blood sugar. It's got flavonoids, flavonoligands, triterpenes, saponines, sterols, tocols. And the grain also has a unique protein composition. In contrast to other cereals. So it really is unique in the world of cereals. Oats have a very profound and interesting nutritional profile, which, as I said before, has protein, unsaturated fats, soluble fibers, and micronutrients. Now, I think one of the reasons why, if you eat oats for breakfast, it really does carry you through the day is because oats have the highest fat content of any cereal, but they have low saturated fatty acids, which means they have the good fats for you. Really good unsaturated fatty acids. And this is why those unsaturated fatty acids, along with the fiber and all this other lovely stuff, really helps have you a heart healthy breakfast or snack. Now, the medicinal properties, and again, this is of the grain oats. It's antioxidant. It's got those flavonoids in there. It's anti-inflammatory. It's very wound healing, meaning, it's really good for the skin, both internally and externally. It has demulcent properties, and it's really good for that. It really helps enhance your immune system. It's anti-diabetic, mainly because it helps regulate blood sugar. And it also is anti-cholesterolemic, which means it helps lower your cholesterol. So, wow. And according to Willifred, it's only 9 cents a serving. Now, this product is so lovely. I'm not getting any product placement. There's no sponsorship here. I just really love this product. And you'll notice the name, it says Avena. Now, the quality of demulcent, which is softening, that's the word for softening in herb language. And this is really healing from oats. And that slimy stuff that happens when you cook oats, get that slimy stuff. This is called mucilage, and it's what makes oats particularly topically so soothing and healing to the skin. And the product line of Avena, which makes all sorts of things, actually takes its name from Avena sativa. And it has creams and lotions, and especially the bath products. And way back when I was young, Avena is simply bath stuff. It's called colloidal oatmeal. It's basically very finely ground oatmeal, and you would add it to a bath to help soothe from things like eczema and rashes and irritations. But they're all made from oats. So there you go. Another wonderful reason to learn Latin binomial of certain plants, so you know where the product names come from. Now, as I said before, oat straw is basically the leaves and stems that are harvested when the oats, before they're harvested for grains, and while the grass is still green. Now, oat straw comes in extracts, teas, capsules, and powders. And it's often in tea mixtures for various reasons. Now, the medicinal action of oat straw, and this is the really lovely thing about oats, and uh, sativa really has a lot to do with the reason why oats has been named that is it's a nervine tonic. It's an antidepressant and it's a nutritive, which means it's got lots of particularly minerals in it. And it's a vulnerary. And David Hoffman, he's a wonderful medical herbalist from the United Kingdom and author of the text that I recommend for the online herbal course. I actually studied with him. He says that oat straw is one of the best remedies for feeding the nervous system, especially when someone is under stress. It's very good for nervous depression and exhaustion. And oat straw is, and you'll know this if you buy any type of medicinal teas, if you look at the recipe, particularly for sleep or stress or even breastfeeding, you'll have oat straw in it. Now, pregnancy and oat straw. So, for many reasons, eating oats while pregnant is really good for the mom and the baby. Specifically for the demulcent properties, pregnant moms, their skin changes quite a bit. And the fact also that oats help regulate blood sugar. Now, one of the things that any obstetrician or midwife will be just sitting on their pregnant patients over is regulating their blood sugar. You're always going to be getting your blood work done and your urine looked at. And if you're spilling or have extra sugar in there, they're really going to clamp down on your diet because you don't want to develop gestational diabetes. This is a concern. So, eating oats can help pregnant moms reduce the threat of out of control blood sugar, and particularly oat bran helps keep those bowels moving. And it's just really good thing to do. Now, baths with colloidal oatmeal can help with skin changes that happen during pregnancy. And oat straw is really lovely to add to the bath water or foot baths if you don't have a bath or you just can't get in and out of one, particularly at the end of pregnancy. If you just do a foot bath, that's really, you get a lot of the medicinal properties if you put herbs into your bath. And this will really be wonderful to help calm anxious nerves. Sometimes, especially during the end of pregnancy, moms get really antsy. They're not sleeping because the baby's always doing trampolines on their bladders and can't get comfortable, on and on. And it's also a little nerve-wracking to realize you're getting ready to become a mom. So oat straw is a wonderful thing to drink and add to either foot baths or baths. Because oat straw is really high in calcium and magnesium, This herb is good for pregnancy in general. You know, in the old ages, women, it was always said you lost a tooth for every pregnancy, is because the baby takes all the calcium and magnesium out of your system. And that's why you need to supplement or eat foods that are high in these minerals. Well, let's throw in a little oat straw tea. It's really good for you. And oat straw is also wonderful for increasing milk production in nursing mothers. And because it's so high in so many wonderful uh, herbs and substances and minerals, it also improves the quality of breast milk. It's very high in those essential fatty acids, and it makes your breast milk more nutritious for your baby. And it's really safe to take both in food and supplement forms. And to my knowledge, there's no like time limit on this or how much you can take per day. I'm sure if you fed rats several tons of oat straw a day, they would die. But I doubt if anybody's going to get that kind of dosage. And there's no side effects, no nothing that I can find, at least. So it's very, very, very um, a very safe. And really, what's the downside? Now, I have no experience growing oats, and I'm not sure most people watching this program would have the acreage to grow such a crop. There's all kinds of information, particularly for farmers, if you do want to grow these lovely plants. But for us lay people, non-farmers, and small garden people, uh, I can't recommend or not recommend. I mean, if you want to, mow down your front lawn and have nothing but oats, you have to make sure and check your homeowner regulations for such a thing, but go for it, do it. But oats are, for the rest of us, all when they're grown, versatile in terms of cooking and come in a variety of forms. You can get quick oats, and my dad, my sweet daddy, really loved his steel cut oats, which are much coarser, kind of almost the whole thing. And he would soak them overnight and eat them every morning with a collection of various dried fruits and nuts. And he just loved that breakfast. If I would ever make him anything else for breakfast, like if I would make pancakes or eggs, he would eat the oatmeal first and then the eggs and the pancakes. He just it was his ritual. Now, I have a link in the program notes on some wonderful healthy recipes you can incorporate in your diet. Now, for those of you who are gluten sensitive, oats are a wonderful option for grain. If you do buy oats, you need to make sure that it says gluten-free. Even though there are no glutens in oats, they need to be processed in a facility that does not process gluten oats, such as wheat. So just that's an aside. But there's all kinds of lovely things. There's one recipe that I really like. It's basically bananas, quick oats. That's it. And you mix them together. You mash the bananas, put the oats in, spices, a little honey if you want, and they make delicious cookies, and they're so good for you. And this is a wonderful thing, especially for gluten-free children if they're wanting a snack. And a lot of times these gluten-free products, like cookies and cereals, sometimes they get quite expensive. But this is such an easy thing to do with overripe bananas and oats. It's really simple. So it's from the BBC Good Food website, and really wonderful, healthy ideas for oats. And there's also non-healthy like oatmeal bars, which are full of sugar and butter. But anyways, there's just no lack of things that you can do with oats in terms of eating. And however you, uh, if you're trying to get pregnant or you're pregnant or nursing or just want to be healthy, Oats are really, as Wilford Brimley used to tell us on TV, the right thing to do. So, however you wish to incorporate this incredible gift from nature, either eating it or taking oat straw in its various forms, I hope you can come to appreciate what a gift that oats are to us all. So, for those of you who celebrate Mother's Day, I hope you had a sweet day. And this is Stephanie Georgiev saying thanks so much for spending your valuable time with me. And until next time, be well.